Rick Davis recused himself from the dealings in that firm, I don't know how long ago, a year or two ago, and that he's not benefiting from that. And, you know, I would hope that that's the case.
But he still has a stake in the company, so isn't that a conflict of interest?
Again, my understanding is that he recused himself from the dealings with Freddie and Fannie, and he lobbied.
Take a look down there. That's a $26 million road to nowhere. Your tax money. It was supposed to connect that notorious bridge to an airport. But Governor Sarah Palin did not stop the costly road project even after the bridge was canceled.
Simply put, what could Governor Palin have done? If she says she's against earmarks, what could Governor Palin have done in this case?
Governor Palin could have stopped construction of this road.
This is Gravina Island Highway. It runs about 3 miles long at $8 million per mile, paid for by your tax dollars. But there's no one on this road. Many locals call it the road to nowhere.
On such an important issue, I'm in that sense a federalist, where I believe that states should have more say in the laws of their lands in individual areas.
Other Supreme Court decisions do you disagree with?
Well, let's see. There's, of course, in the great history of America, there have been rulings that there's never going to be absolute consensus by every American, and there are those issues, again, like Roe v. Wade, where I believe are best held on a state level and addressed there. So, you know, going through the history of America, there would be others, but...
Can you think of any?
Well, I would think of any, again, that could best be dealt with on a more local level. Maybe I would take issue with, but, you know, as a mayor and then as a governor and even as a vice president, if I'm so privileged to serve, wouldn't be in a position of changing those things, but in supporting the law of the land as it reads today.
Since any analogy that does not compare her to Madame Curie will be exploited by the McCain campaign as sexist, the safest comparison is probably one to one of those Sarah Palin dolls, the pull string, that allows it to say as many as 10 different phrases over and over and over again, lying by insisting she opposed the bridge to nowhere, then, when Charlie Gibson would not let her get away with that, trying to claim that earmark abuse by her was okay because she claimed she sought the money openly and because she only received the money. The evil Congress in Washington did the granting of it.
You now agree with John McCain that earmark should be eliminated. The state of Alaska governor this year requested $3.2 million for researching the genetics of harbor seals, money to study the mating habits of crabs. Isn't that exactly the kind of thing that John McCain is objecting to?
Do you agree with the Bush doctrine?
In what respect, Charlie?
The Bush, what do you interpret it to be?
His worldview?
No, the Bush doctrine enunciated September.
Governor Palin specifically contradicting the Pakistan policy of her own running mate.
You said the U.S. should absolutely launch cross-border attacks from Afghanistan into Pakistan. It's almost the exact position Barack Obama has taken and that you, Senator McCain, have criticized as something you do not say out loud. So, Governor Palin, are you two on the same page?
We will do what we have to do.
Sorry you said it, Governor?
Wait a minute. Before you say, is she sorry she said it? This was a gotcha soundbite that, well, she was
It wasn't
in
a gotcha. She was talking to a
she
voter.
Was in a conversation.
You were pretty specific about what you wanted to do.
Well, as Senator McCain is suggesting here also, never would our administration get out there and show our cards to...
Gibson asked, do we have the right in your mind to go across the border with or without the approval of the Pakistani government? She answered, in order to stop those terrorists who would seek to destroy America and our allies, we must do whatever it takes, and we must not blink, Charlie.
You've cited Alaska's proximity to Russia as part of your foreign policy experience.
It's funny that a comment like that was kind of made to, I don't know, you know, reporters.
Mocked?
Yeah, mocked, I guess that's the word, yeah.
Well, explain to me why that enhances your foreign policy credentials.
Well, it certainly does, because our next door neighbors are foreign countries.
Involved with any negotiations, for example, with the Russians?
We have trade missions back and forth. We do. It's very important when you consider even national security issues with Russia, as Putin rears his head and comes into the airspace of the United States of America. Where do they go? It's a.
And asking, did you ever travel outside the country prior to your trip to Kuwait and Germany last year? Her answer: Canada, Mexico, and then that trip. In fact, it was the only trip of her lifetime outside North America, which would make it hard to meet foreign heads of state. Gibson asking, have you ever met a foreign head of state? Palin said, I have not, and I think if you go back in history and if you ask that question of many vice presidents, they may have the same answer. In fact, every vice president in the last 32 years and every living vice president has met a foreign head of state before taking office. More lying or simply not knowing. Gibson asked, have you ever given any kind of command decision to the Alaska National Guard? Palin answered, we have called up National Guardsmen to help in other states who have gone in emergency status. We have assisted there. False. Governor Palin has never issued an order to the Alaska National Guard. Know what else she's not done to our knowledge? Properly pronounce the word nuclear. Too much to ask that the next chief executive of this country and his assistant know how to pronounce the word nuclear.
And asked a specific question from a friendly audience at a town hall meeting yesterday in Michigan, Governor Palin gave what some consider to be a rather clumsy answer. Listen to this.
Oil, of course, it's a fungible commodity, and they don't flag, the molecules where it's going and where it's not. But in the sense of the Congress today, they know that there are very, very hungry domestic markets that need that oil first. So I believe that what Congress is going to do also is not to allow the export bans to such a degree that it's Americans who get stuck holding the bag without the energy source that is produced here, pumped here. It's got to flow into our domestic markets first.
All right, not exactly easy to understand what she was saying, but the question would be, would there be some sort of ban on exporting new drilled U.S. oil if that were to take place? And
you said recently in your old church, our national leaders are sending U.S. soldiers on a task that is from God. Are we fighting a holy war?
I don't know if that was my exact quote.
Our leaders, our national leaders, are sending them out on a task that is from God.
Pastor Thomas Muthi not only began his career by literally persecuting a woman in a Kenyan village as literally a witch, but that he boasted about it. And Governor Palin's church in Alaska boasted about it too. The details in a moment. First, a refresher on the governor's reference to him in her testimony in church this June.
We forgot to talk about Pastor Muthi. Yeah, as I was mayor and Pastor Muthi was here and he was praying over me, and you know how he speaks. And he's so bold. He's praying, Lord, make a way, Lord, make a way. And I'm thinking, this guy is really bold. He doesn't even know what I'm going to do. He doesn't know what my plans are. And he's praying not, oh, Lord, if it be your will, may she become governor or whatever. No, he just prayed for it. He said, Lord, make a way.
According to the Christian Science Monitor, 6 months of praying and research led him to a local. Pastor Muthi publicly declared that she was a witch. In his grocery store basement prayer sessions, Mama Jane became a pariah. People panicked. Police raided her home. Somebody shot a snake thought to be a demon. After she was questioned and released, Pastor Muthi's witch is said to have left town. According to the Times of London, Muthi still refers to this witch hunt during the time Sarah Palin was preparing to run for governor of Alaska.
Her church believes in quite a few things that seem sort of outside the realms for most of us, speaking in tongues. Certainly the whole idea that Alaska is going to be the last day's refuge.
It makes Jeremiah Wright look like Father Flanagan from Boys Town. As governor, has Mrs. Palin been questioned about this man, her association with him, and specifically this one topic of witch huntery?
No, I don't think so. Look at this and you wonder, are we going to go from waterboarding to just throwing people in ponds and seeing if they float or not?
In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, every form of witchcraft is what we're rebuking in the name of Jesus. Father, make a way now.